Daddy,
And
slow down.
moving right along, we've got our gentlemen in the studio from Comexposed, Tino Makoni and Eugene Mapondera. Gentlemen, welcome to StarFM.
Hello, thank you very much.
Good morning.
Fantastic. Comexposed, Zimbabwean Comic Book Convention.
That's right.
What's that all about?
Well, Comexposed is an organization that fosters the education, promotion of comic book art, trying to get the Zimbabwean public to develop some sense of understanding of what comic books and storytelling through comic books can do for everybody.
Yeah.
For our history, our culture, our ideas, developing our own mythologies, and just sharing great stories and entertainment with the whole world in the same way that they've been doing it.
I know comic books. I read comic books when I was a little boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Comic books, and we fell in love with superheroes and all that. But in today's age, where there's all these PlayStations and all these other things, gadgets that kids can be crazy about, comic books.
Absolutely, yes, comic books.
I know grown men who read comic books up until now.
Because they got used to them when they were kids.
And they collect them. And apparently, if you've got the right comics, you've got serious collector's items.
True, they become collector's items.
Yeah.
But do kids today read comic books?
Kids today are still reading comic books
Really?
quite a lot, and that has led to the popularity of the current slate of movies, also the games, and right now, if you watch Disney, most of the shows there are based on currently running comic books. So it's just the format that's changed. They may not always be picking up a physical copy, but now they're reading it on their tablet or they're reading it on their phone. So it's still a very, very active industry in itself.
Okay.
You know what's interesting about this is I'm looking at the website right now, comexposed.com, and I see pictures of the Hulk and comic books in Zimbabwe. Are they serious business? Strike Guard Review 1, and some very westernized characters. We've got local comics. Are you encouraging, what are they called, comic creators? To then look into Hannah Gringo, who made us laugh non-stop, Manam Kadota and whatnot. I mean, if you're going to talk about preserving our cultural heritage, you might as well include the local arts and artists who made laughing.
That's a great point. There's a slew, like a large number of ideas that have come out of Zimbabwe, comic book ideas that not too many people are even familiar with. For example, Chitai Tai is a comic book character that I don't think anybody knows about. He's a soccer player who grew up in Highfields, and he can be seen in the Hot Shots comic book. There's Ganyamuto, he's a half dog, bipedal, machine sort of creature created by Tino Makoni. There's Nephenyuro Man. So before we even get there, I mean, there's
Nephenyuro Man.
Nephenyuro Man.
That's Ola 7 right there.
Wait until you hear his backstory. But
interesting.
Yeah, before we get to the gringos and so on, because that's already been made. People are familiar with that. There's a large number of ideas that have been developed. I'm talking about even worlds such as Tanganyika, for example, that people aren't even familiar with. And that's part of our organization's mandate, to familiarize people with these ideas. How about they take on these ideas? Of course, Gringo's had his time. Mukadota has had his time. And there are all these guys who haven't had an opportunity to share their ideas with the entire public. And these ideas are over 5 years old in some cases.
All right.
Yeah.
And then how many artists, how many comic creators are there in the country? When someone hears something about comic books and them being localized, people like in Zimbabwe,
Absolutely.
is there a movement? Is there a serious movement of a lot of comic artists coming through and saying, you know what, we've got something worth looking at?
I think there is a very serious movement. If you go to most schools, you'd be hard-pressed to find in almost every grade one child who's drawing comics for himself. We bump into these guys consistently. What happens is that after a while, because they're not getting much support for what they're doing, they put it aside and decide to go study or do something else. So we ourselves have managed to put together 10 of these really, really good professional artists, and we're trying to produce our own collaborative comic book just to show people that, yes, they are there, they are doing it, and they are really, really good. As good as any comic you get from Marvel or DC.
Okay, I know the artists listening right now, fine artists, people who can draw, people who can, create stories, people who are funny. So how is there a market for such things in Zimbabwe, first of all?
Okay, that's a very good question. There's an article on that website which actually talks about this question. The market is bigger than Zimbabwe now. Because of the advent of the internet, something has come up called independent publishing or indie publishing, whereby you take it upon yourself to create whatever it is you want to create. It could be a comic book, and you make it into a digital format, and you publish it online. Whether you choose to sell it or you choose to give it away for free, it's now absolutely possible to sell your Zimbabwean comic book to someone in Malaysia, to someone in the UK, and so on. So is there a market? The answer to that is absolutely.
So surely you must have some sort of platform where you can then help or encourage artists and so that they understand how to make this a business. Is there such a platform in your organization?
Yes, there is.
Yeah, you can feel free to talk to us, and you can even publish your comics on our website. Right now, if you go onto the website, you can download 2 comics for free. 2 Zimbabwean comics absolutely for free, just to see that it does actually work and people are downloading and reading this content. Aside from that, there's a few other platforms that do the same thing in Zim, and we encourage the use of those as well.
Okay, Tino and Eugene, are you guys living off of comics?
Absolutely, 100%. I've been living off comic books since 2012.
Alvin.
Really?
I wake up to draw comic books for a living, yes.
Yeah, I also draw comic books for clients online, as well as do character design. I actually do character design more frequently than just comic books.
You know, there's a parent who's probably listening right now, and they wake up in the morning and the child is drawing like, I'm going to arithmetic. I'm going to draw. Shit non-stop. What have you got to say to those parents?
First of all, to the kids, listen to your parents, except on that matter. Keep following that passion. My parents supported me quite a lot. They did say, first of all, make sure you cover your bases, finish and get your good grades, then pursue your passion as well. So I say that to the kids. The parents, I say the world it's big, it's different, and there's so many ways a person can have a career and a livelihood now. It's expanded. So comic books are legitimate. They are very it's broader than the paper.
Just to add to that, if there are any parents listening, drawing, art, and comic books are not for dull children. I think that's a myth. And just to put things into perspective, I have a qualification with a Bachelor of Science, actually, but I do comic books.
You guys just say something that, you know what, I had a little bulb. Can we use comics to spread a positive message in the society?
Yes.
We know we were talking about condoms in schools and whatnot. Could this not be a platform where we would also, try and encourage good behavior in children, to talk about a drug usage, drug abuse, using the comics? I mean, what inspires a story in a comic book?
Well, I'll speak on that. NGOs have actually been a good supporter of comic industry. I've already done 2 on one on immigration and another on just street children for both Save the Children and IOM. So spreading positive messages is what comics are for, really, because children read them, they understand them, it's visual communication, and it's quickly understood. So the more people that want to spread a bit, I'd say comics is the best way to go.
That's fantastic.
Wow, thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you for coming through to Star FM. Tino Makoni and Eugene Mapondera, they are from Comexposed, the Zimbabwean Comic Book Convention. So if people want to know more about the convention, it's happening next month, correct?
Yes, next month.
How can they get in touch with you?
You just look for us on Facebook, or you follow us on YouTube, or just visit the website, and you can contact us at admin@comexposed.com, or Tino or Eugene on Comexposed@comexposed.com.
And the website is comexposed.com.
Comexposed, yes.